Hey YouTube, we are MDEX Music. Today we're going to start our series on some of the basics and fundamentals of mapping tonal harmony, just to help you guys navigate the map a little bit more precisely and a bit more succinctly. So we've got a lot of questions basically pertaining to like certain fundamentals and elements that everyone needs to know. This kind of sort of vocabulary that's going to help you navigate this landscape. Things like what is a modulation, or what are inversions, what is transposing. So this playlist is basically designed to give you guys like quick access to these terms so you can make better use of your time and our app. So let's get started. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about inversions and how we use them in mapping tonal harmony. Got a lot of questions with regard to like what is a 6 chord or what is a 6/4 chord, and it's easy to kind of conflate this concept with other numbers when you see them in chords, like a 7 or a 9 chord, as those are scale degrees. But with regard to these inversions, what our numbers represent are actually intervals. So let's go to Mapping Tonal Harmony Pro and plug in some of these chords, and we can talk about what the numbers mean. So we have a C chord already in there in root position. Let's do a first inversion chord in the next measure, for the next part of the measure. Let's do a second inversion chord after that. And for this third inversion, we need a 7 chord. So I'm going to use a G7 over here as a way of illustrating that. We'll talk about why in a second. All right, so we've got our chords here, our root position chord followed by its inversions and other inversions like it right here. C over E, C, G. Let's look at them functionally, and we can see some of the notation that's throwing people off. So now we have like 1, 1, 6, 1, 6, 4, and what all these numbers mean. So it might be easy to misconstrue this 1, 6 as, oh, it's just like a C6, that's all we're doing, right? That's not really what it means. These numbers are the bass's relationship to other notes in the chord. So let me show you what I'm talking about. With this 1, 6 chord right here, if I play a first inversion C chord, what I see is a third between the E and the G, the third and fifth of the chord. We use note names from now on just to not confuse the numbers with what we're talking about. So E and G, and then I see another sixth or a sixth right here between the bass and the root of the chord. All right. So if I'm being real explicit about this, I'm going to write 1 and then 6, 3 as a way of expressing this. So if I go to a second inversion chord, I have a 4th on the bottom from the G to the C, and a 6th from the G to the E, right? 6, 4. And if I'm using a 7 chord, which I need to if I'm talking about third inversion, I used G7 here, I have the 7th on the bottom, so I have a 2nd between the F and the G, I have a 4th between the F and the B, and I have a 6th between the F and the D. So that would look like 2, 4, 6, if we're being real explicit about how to write them out, right? So a little explanation about the shapes. As we've talked about before, when you're playing a first inversion chord, the third is the bass, hence the 3-pointed geometric figure, the triangle. And if you have your 5th as the bass, the pentagon for the 5th. And if you have the 7th as the bass, as we do in this chord, we have a heptagon to illustrate that exact concept. So hopefully this makes things a little bit more clear to you guys as to what these numbers are with relationship to inversions. Remember, it's just the intervals to and from the bass that we're looking at, not scale degrees. So stick around, we're going to have more information on other basics and fundamentals with regard to music theory and how to operate Mapping Tonal Harmony Pro and how to make your life a lot easier. All right, so like I said, I hope that was helpful. If you find the content useful or you want to stay up to date on the stuff we release, click on the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.